Welcome to WWE Attitude Years 2000, where Triple H buried everyone, The Rock roasted everything, and Vince McMahon was out here beefing with his kids. TLC got brutal. The Radicals bailed on WCW, and nothing made sense, but we loved every second. Hop into our time machine, and let's get uncensored.
What's up, y'all? You're checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Anc.
I'm here too.
That's my Hot Commodity Anc, and we're getting ready to jump into our time machine. We're actually already in there.
I was just going to tell you, our time machine's working so good that on our TV right now, we're watching The $1 Million Man, Psycho Sid, and Vince McMahon.
Yeah, we're able to just go back to whatever we want now. That's great. But you're here to listen to us talk about WWF SmackDown from October 26, 2000. But before we cover the show, I did find something interesting that happened on this date in 2000.
Enlighten us.
The PlayStation 2 was launched in America for $300.
Wow.
And actually, during this episode of SmackDown, they were promoting a game for it. So, yeah, interesting.
What was the game?
I don't know. I didn't pay attention. But, that's a lot of noise. He's eating, as usual.
Shocker.
So, yeah, it came out PlayStation 2. I think my brother got it in like 01. It took him a year to get it. But, yeah, so now we're on to PlayStation 5 in 2025. But, yeah, PlayStation 2, the beginning of a new generation for game players.
I had the first PlayStation. I had Warzone for it, I think it was called. And it was the one with like the elevator.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And I had Xena Warrior Princess.
Did you have PS2?
No.
Shame.
Because I wasn't a big PlayStation person.
We had it. I just remember the first games that we definitely had the wrestling game, the SmackDown Just Bring It. That came out next year in 2001. And we had my brother had Jax, I think. Jackson Dexter, I think. But yeah, so he had it more than I did.
Was that a Nickelodeon game?
No, it was I think it's on the PlayStation. It's like a little animal and a guy with blonde hair and do adventures. I don't know. But that was a fun fact for this date. So just remember that the PlayStation 2 was just released. So this SmackDown, again, is from October 26, 2000, live in Long Island, New York. When I was typing in, where it was from on Wikipedia, it said it's in Uniondale. So I don't know if, Uniondale and Long Island are the same thing. But during this episode, they kept referring to it as Long Island. So maybe it's the Gulf of America.
Well, it's probably like a section, even though Hamden is its own town, it's part of New Haven County.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's probably something similar to that.
Well, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out to kick off the night, and Austin says, I came out here to clear up a misunderstanding with the law. What happened after a hell of a competition, I offered Rikishi a ride to the park in my truck. He had fallen and couldn't get up. The cops thought I was trying to run him over. I wouldn't do that. I explained to the cops I accidentally stepped on the gas. Stone Cold Steve Austin refused to press charges on the cop driving the car. They brought me to the police department and got me for littering because I dumped 400 pounds of trash on the side of the road. I'd like to thank Mick Foley for his help throughout all this. I promised I wouldn't lay a hand on Rikishi unless I was provoked. I will get Rikishi in a steel cage on Raw. If Rikishi provokes me tonight, I'm going to whoop his ass. So Rikishi will fight Stone Cold, but Stone Cold making that threat clear to Rikishi that if he tries him, Austin's going to fuck him up.
I don't even know why Austin had to make this promo. I mean, I didn't think he was trying to run Rikishi over.
What was he trying to do? Bring him to the park, like you said?
Yeah, I thought he just got stuck in between gears and his car was acting up.
Possibly.
I mean, how could you hit something like that's a big speed bump?
It is. Two coolers talking to the speed bump Rikishi backstage, and they're mad at what he did to Austin. Grandmaster Sexy is worried for Rikishi, and Rikishi just says, you two fools are worried. Do I have fear in my eyes? If it wasn't for me, you two wouldn't be too cool. Stay out of my damn business. So Rikishi's even being mean to his friends now. Tag champions, the Hardy Boys.
Not nice.
It's not. With women's champion Lita defending against the Dudley Boys. Early on in the match, Jeff lands a Super Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. The Dudleys go to grab tables, but Edge and Christian come out and nail the Dudleys and the Hardys with chair shots. The Hardys get the win by DQ.
Yeah, obviously I thought the Hardys were going to win because they just got the titles, so I didn't really see them dropping the titles just yet, but I do think that, we haven't seen the Dudleys as champions in a while, and they're good champions, and, you know, they're one of the best right now. It's between those three, so I think probably for the next year or two, we're going to see the titles basically stick between the three of them.
Well, Edge and Christian definitely want another shot at those titles after they fucked themselves over last week. We see a backstage segment where Stephanie McMahon Helmsley says that Mick Foley should be impeached as commissioner. Right to Censor come out. Ivory trash talks The Rock's comments about pie. That's when The Rock comes out, and The Rock says, Ivory, do you like pie? Ivory says, we are not pieces of meat, Rock, we're beautiful women. And then China comes out. China says, we don't appreciate a librarian woman trying to speak for all of us. Ivory says, I understand you're angry and I feel your pain because you have been exploited the most by posing nude. It makes you cheap, not a star. Mr. Ass comes out eating cheesecake, and Mr. Ass says, Rock, I
Which
like pie. Yeah. And basically, Right to Censor get challenged to a match later on tonight. Right to Censor are just like fucking party poopers.
Yeah, they really are. And they kind of suck too. I mean, they just suck. But yeah, I'm definitely excited for Billy Gunn, The Rock, and China. Because this is like the first team that I feel like can give these people what they deserve, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I want them to open up a can on them.
I'm sure they will. We'll definitely get their chance later on tonight.
And if not, maybe Psycho Sid can.
Maybe. Chris Benoit and Dim Malenko, the light heavyweight champion, are teaming up against Road Dogg and Triple H. Triple H slams Chris Benoit to the announce desk and steals steps. Harry Saturn runs out and hits the Road Dogg from behind. Malenko applies a Texas Cloverleaf, and Benoit and Malenko get the win after Triple H attacks and clears the ring. And it looks like the Radicals are reforming here. We've got Harry Saturn helping out Dean Malenko and Chris Benoit.
Yeah, this does not excite me at all. The only reason the Radicals were together in the first place is because they all came from WCW at the same exact time. There's no other reason for them to be together. They suck. They have no personalities, and it's just, I don't want to see them back together again.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what's going to happen here. We see a TNA PA sign on the old Acolytes office, and TNA has taken over after injuring the Acolytes at No Mercy. Crash Holly confronts them, and we'll get a match later on between Albert and Crash. We then get WWF champion Kurt Angle coming out with Stephanie McMahon Helmsley. He basically says that his opponent for tonight is the Brooklyn Brawler. But Commissioner Foley comes out and says that's not true. We're not in Brooklyn. We're actually in Long Island, and your opponent is Chris Jericho. So Angle will defend the title now. Stephanie grabs Jericho's leg, and Angle attacks Jericho to start the match. Angle lands a belly-to-belly for a 2 count. Jericho drop kicks Kurt Angle on the top rope with the Super Hurricane Rana. Jericho goes for a lion salt, but Stephanie McMahon Helmsley slaps the shit out of Jericho. Jericho applies the walls again, but Kane comes out and hits Jericho in the back with a flying clothesline. Jericho gets the DQ victory, and after the match, Kane chokeslams Chris Jericho. Who knew that coffee would cause so many fucking issues?
You know? That's what I'm saying. But, yeah, it would have been cool to see Jericho as champion, but, that needs to happen at a pay-per-view, not really on a Monday Night Raw. But, I can definitely see that happening soon. And it definitely feels like Commissioner McFoley has an end for Kurt already. He's giving him a hard time, making him defend the title, but he should be a fighting champion. He's Kurt Angle, so let's see what he can do.
I fucking agree. We then have a hardcore match, Albert with Trish Stratus versus Crash Holly. A lot of shenanigans. We see Crash hit Albert with a stop sign. Albert hits Crash with a trash can lid and lands a delayed butterfly suplex, and Albert gets the win, reinforcing TNA PA, I guess, here. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.
Next, we have the right to censor with Ivory, and I think it's like a 4-on-3 handicap match, taking on China, Mr. Ass, and The Rock. During the match, China lands a handspring elbow to Steven Richards. Rock hits a spine buster to Bull Buchanan and a rock bottom, but the right to censor break up the pinfall. Rock's able to apply a sharpshooter to Bull Buchanan, and The Rock, China, and Mr. Ass have shut up the right to censor here on SmackDown.
Yeah, it was definitely a feel-good moment. They had it coming, and who better to give it to them than that month's Playboy centerfold? It was great.
Joni was great. We then get moving on to something.
Joni.
Thank you, Joni. Something that's not so great. Al Snow taking on Raven with Taz, who joins commentary. Raven lands a Russian leg sweep to Al Snow into the railing. Al hits an over the ropes leg drop to Raven for a 2 count. Al locks in a dragon sleeper, but Taz gets in King's face, which distracts Al Snow. Raven lands a DDT, and Raven gets the win after Raven and Taz attack Al until Jerry the Lawler makes the save and evens the odds. And this will probably lead to a tag match on Raw between the 4.
Yeah, Jerry the Lawler.
He's had a lot of shit happening in 2000.
Yeah, he sure has. And it's funny because he's not really a wrestler. But I almost wonder if Vince McMahon just wasn't, picking on him, kind of dragging him into the fights. Because clearly, if he has the chance to put his body on the line or sit and make jokes and make the same amount of money, he's probably going to pick the latter. So.
Well, we had come to our main event, a handicap match, Rikishi versus former friends Too Cool. Rikishi just destroys Too Cool here and lands a Banzai Drop to Scotty 2 Hotty. After Rikishi gets on the microphone, he lands a Samoan drop to Grandmaster Sexay and then a Banzai Drop as well. Rikishi calls out Austin, saying, "If you have any guts, bring your ass out here." But as Austin is about to face off Rikishi, someone in the back hits Austin in the face with a wrench, busting Austin open. Austin still tries to come out, but Rikishi beats the shit out of him, super kicks Austin, and then lands a Banzai Drop to a bloody Austin. We're going to see Rikishi and Austin face off in a steel cage, but the question is, who was the assailant?
I think this was like the most important part of the night, is to know that there's someone else involved, and it's making me wonder if it's The Rock, because Rikishi threatened to say something last week. Or was that on Monday?
That was on Raw.
Yeah, he threatened to say something, and it never came out. So it's making me wonder if The Rock had something to do with it, or is another guess I'm having, if it's not The Rock, could Vince McMahon be back?
Could be someone is working with Rikishi here to fuck with Austin, and it definitely worked tonight on SmackDown. Will Austin get his revenge on Raw? You'll have to tune in to find out. Make sure if you're listening to us on YouTube, you check out all of our other videos. We have older episodes of the Attitude Years in the archives. Make sure you subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell to stay notified. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever you get your podcast. We're going to still chill in 2000. Until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.